Eri Sato. On March 13th, 2025, in Tokyo's Shinjuku district, the air was humid and heavy with the smell of rain. Neon signs shimmered in puddles along the sidewalk. Taxis hissed past as umbrellas moved like slow-motion shadows under the glowing billboards. 22-year-old Eri Sato, a small but growing YouTuber and streamer, was broadcasting live from her phone. Her viewers watched the streets of Tokyo from her perspective, the camera swaying gently with each step, her cheerful voice blending with the city's noise. "Good evening, everyone," she said, laughing softly as she crossed the busy intersection near Kabukicho. Behind her, the electric buzz of signs and vending machines filled the air. In the reflection of a shop window, her image flickered. White coat, short hair, phone in hand. The ordinary face of a live stream that thousands had tuned into. For nearly 20 minutes, everything appeared normal. She stopped to buy a drink from a vending machine, lifted it to the camera, and thanked her viewers for watching. Her tone was light and relaxed. A few followers sent heart emojis and donations that popped up across the screen. Then something changed. As she walked down a narrower street, the sound of her footsteps echoed sharply against concrete walls. A figure appeared in the distance, blurred by drizzle and streetlight. The man stepped closer, shouting her name. "Eri!" She turned toward the camera, her expression flickering between confusion and fear. The stream shook violently as she backed away. Her phone jostled, catching only fragments. The wet pavement, the man's shadow, the sudden movement of her arm. A scream pierced through the audio. Viewers heard scuffling, muffled cries, and the clatter of her phone striking the ground. The camera tilted sideways, showing a single image for several seconds. A reflection of flashing lights in the puddles, faint voices, then static. The live stream cut out. Police arrived within the hour, tracing the stream's GPS signal to a side street off Yasukuni-dori Avenue. They found Eri lying unconscious nearby, the phone still broadcasting a blank screen to thousands of stunned viewers. She was transported to the hospital, but pronounced dead later that night. What had started as a peaceful night walk turned into one of Japan's most disturbing live stream tragedies, witnessed in real time by her own audience. Investigators later discovered that her attacker had located her by analyzing backgrounds in previous videos, matching landmarks, signs, and reflections to find her route. Jean Pormanov. On August 18th, 2025, in a small apartment outside Paris, the room glowed under harsh fluorescent lights, cameras pointed in every direction. The stream had already been running for days. Raphael Graven, known online as Jean Pormanov, sat on a worn-out couch surrounded by empty bottles, snack wrappers, and a wall of monitors showing his own face. At first, the tone was playful. He laughed with his crew, chatted with viewers, and claimed he would stream for 10 days straight. Comments flooded in. Jokes, donations, encouragement. But as the hours turned into days, his expression dulled. His movements slowed. He started forgetting words mid-sentence. Around the fifth day, the atmosphere changed. Some of the people around him began shouting, teasing him, and daring him to continue. He appeared exhausted, trembling, yet kept going. The stream never stopped, even when he stumbled, fell, or was visibly hurt. By day 10, he no longer responded. His breathing was shallow. His head hung forward. The camera kept rolling as the chat filled with confusion. Is this part of the act? He didn't move again. The stream continued for hours before anyone intervened. Police arrived to find the lights still on, cameras still live, and thousands of viewers unknowingly watching. The end of a man who had streamed himself to death. Etika. On June 19th, 2019, in New York City, the skyline shimmered under the lights of Manhattan. 30-year-old Desmond Amofa, known as Etika, had been missing for several days after posting a final video titled, "I'm Sorry." In the video, his voice was calm, reflective, and hauntingly clear. He spoke about regret, fame, and losing control of his own mind. Fans watched helplessly as police searched the Manhattan Bridge area, where his phone and belongings were later found. Days later, his body was discovered in the East River. For many, his death marked the first time a major internet figure had vanished so publicly. His downfall documented not in headlines, but in his own words, clips from his old streams, laughter, excitement, energy, replayed endlessly, a stark contrast to the silence that followed. 3 years later, another live stream would end in the same quiet way, watched by thousands, helpless once again. Lim Ji-hye. On June 18th, 2023, in the quiet city of Seongnam, just outside Seoul, the evening lights flickered across the skyline. Inside a small apartment studio, a camera lens focused on a young woman sitting in front of a ring light. Her name was Lim Ji-hye, known online as BJ Imveli, a former model turned live streamer with thousands of followers on Africa TV and YouTube. The broadcast began like any other. Music played softly. Viewers filled the chat with greetings. Lim smiled, laughed, and poured herself a drink. Around her were traces of a long day, makeup wipes, phone cables, an untouched meal. As the hours passed, her tone shifted. The smile faded. Her words became slower, heavier. She spoke about exhaustion, regret, and people she felt had turned against her. At one point, she picked up her phone and scrolled through messages, names of other streamers, old friends, then set it down again, staring into the camera. Thousands watched as she began to cry. She apologized repeatedly, whispering, "I'm sorry for my girls." The chat flooded with concern. Messages like, "Please stop," and "Someone call her." Her phone rang several times. She answered once, murmuring softly, her eyes distant. Moments later, she left the frame, the camera still streaming the quiet room. A shadow moved near the doorway. The stream continued until someone forced the door open. Paramedics entering, voices echoing in Korean. The broadcast ended abruptly. Hours later, emergency services confirmed she had been taken to a nearby hospital. Despite efforts to revive her, Lim Ji-hai was pronounced dead on June 19, 2023. News of her death spread rapidly across South Korea. Fans left candles and letters outside her former studio, while others rewatched her final stream, replaying the last words she spoke into the camera. What began as an ordinary broadcast had turned into a tragedy witnessed live by thousands. Byron Reckful. On July 2, 2020 in Austin, Texas, the afternoon sun filtered through half-closed blinds. The quiet hum of a computer filled the room, where 31-year-old Byron Bernstein, known online as Reckful, sat alone at his desk. His monitors glowed softly, chat windows still open from earlier streams. He had spent years building a loyal audience, admired for his humor, skill, and raw honesty about mental health. That morning, he posted a series of messages online, apologizing to friends, reminiscing about lost moments, and reaching out to fans who had followed him for more than a decade. Outside, the streets were bright and still. Inside, unread messages continued to appear on his screen as notifications chimed softly. Friends and viewers, realizing something was wrong, began calling, texting, and reaching out in panic. By the time help arrived, it was too late. News of his death spread instantly across the internet. That evening, thousands of players gathered inside World of Warcraft, forming circles of avatars on mountaintops, lowering weapons, and typing farewell messages that glowed faintly against the digital night sky. Brian Poshhybrid. On February 19, 2017 in Virginia Beach, the blue glow of computer monitors illuminated a small gaming setup. 35-year-old Brian Vino, known as Poshhybrid, was 15 hours into a 24-hour charity stream. His goal? Raise money for children in need. At first, the stream felt lighthearted. He joked with his chat, drank energy drinks, and pushed through the fatigue. But by the 20th hour, his eyes looked distant. His speech slowed. He leaned back, rubbing his temples between matches. Around hour 22, he stood up for a short break, telling viewers he was going to smoke. Minutes passed. The chair remained empty. Chat messages began filling the screen. Where did he go? Is he okay? He never returned. Later that evening, friends found him unresponsive in his home. The charity stream had raised hundreds of dollars, but the man behind it had quietly passed away, likely from exhaustion and heart failure.